Hello students, now we are discussing about the last unit of this PUC second year syllabus, and here we will be dealing with the 4 chapters. Among the 4 chapters, the first one is the organisms and population. So today just we will be discussing with the organisms and population, then comes the ecosystem, biodiversity and its conservation, environmental issue. And this time, because of the COVID, 2 chapters have been deleted from this unit. That is ecosystem and environmental issues. They are deleted. So we will be discussing only 2 chapters from this unit: organisms and population and biodiversity and its conservation. Today let me begin with the organisms and populations. This organisms and population, it is a 7-hour topic and it has a 6 marks weightage. So here the questions will be asked in the form of 1 plus 2 plus 3. It will be asked in the form of the 1 plus 2 plus 3 bits. So let us begin with the topic. So here we will be dealing with the organisms, the living organisms and how they are living on the earth and how they are interacting with its biotic as well as abiotic factors that we are dealing. Now the organisms, you know that the life is found only on the earth because of many favorable conditions. The place where the organism live is called habitat, its home. So habitat. It is a place where the organism live, or living place of the animals, organisms we can say. I already told you that organism is a common term. So it is the living place of organism. Living place of organism is called as its habitat. So when the organism live in a particular place on the earth, it will be surrounded by surroundings, its surrounding. The surroundings of the organism is nothing but environment. Fine, the organism lives in the environment and environment is composed of biotic and abiotic factors. It is composed of biotic and abiotic factors. So, environment. What do you mean by environment? It depends on your pronunciation. Some will pronounce like environment or environment. I have a habit of pronouncing as environment. So environment, it is the surrounding place of the organism. It is the surrounding place of organism. Fine. Surrounding place of organisms, and this environment, it is composed of 2 factors, biotic and abiotic factors. That is the environment, it is composed of biotic and abiotic factors So environment is composed of biotic and abiotic factors. Any organism living in its habitat will be interacting with the abiotic as well as biotic factors. Fine. This system is called ecosystem or ecological system. So organisms will be interacting. Interact with its biotic and abiotic factors. And this particular system is called ecological system or ecosystem. Ecological, or we can write ecosystem. Fine. Ecosystem. And the study of ecosystem is called as ecology. So what is the study of ecosystem called? Ecology. Ecology, it is the study of ecosystem. Study of ecosystem. So ecology can also be defined in some other way. Some other books you might find some different definitions. Totally you have to remember some keywords like the organism will interact among the or between the interaction between the living organisms as well as with its abiotic factors is called the ecosystem, and the study is called ecology. Fine. Other way. What is the other way of defining the ecology? Interactions. Interaction between organisms. Interaction between organisms and with its environment. With its environment. Environment is called ecology. And ecology, this term was coined by writer. The ecology term was coined by writer. Fine. Ecology is of two types. Ecology is classified into two types. That is types of ecology. Types of ecology. That is plant ecology and the animal ecology. Plant ecology and animal ecology. So as the name itself indicates, in the plant ecology you will be dealing with the plants, different types of plants, and in the animal ecology you will be dealing with the different types of animals and the components of the ecology. Now let me go to the components of ecology. Component of ecology. So in the ecology you will find different hierarchy. You will find different hierarchy, that is three types of hierarchy you will find. Three types of hierarchy. What is hierarchy? The gradations. You will find three types of gradation of the hierarchy in the ecology. Like physical hierarchy, you will find physical hierarchy, chemical hierarchy, and the biological hierarchy. Biological hierarchy. Now let us discuss one by one. So till now, what did I told? We are discussing with the organisms and population, which has a 7 hours topic. Teaching hour is 7 hours and marks 6, and it will be asked in 1 plus 2 plus 3. So organisms and population, it includes some of the side headings. Organisms, it is a general term for plants and animals, and the place where the organism live is called habitat, and its surrounding is called as environment. And this environment is composed of biotic and abiotic factors. The name itself suggests the meaning. Biotic, the components which has got life, or all the living components of the ecosystem are called as biotic component, and abiotic component, the components which do not have the life, that is called the abiotic components. So organisms, whatever organism you take, when it lives in its habitat, it will be interacting among itself. Among the other animals and among other living organisms, it will be interacting. Along with that, the environmental factors also will be affecting. So interaction between the organisms and other organisms and with the environment is called ecology, and the system is called the ecosystem. And the ecology it has got two types, that is plant ecology and the animal ecology. In the plant ecology, you'll be dealing with the plants, and in the animal ecology, you'll be dealing with the animals. And in the ecology, you will see different hierarchy, and these hierarchy are three types: physical, chemical, and biological. Let us go one by one. Well, in the ecology, three hierarchy I told: physical, biological, and ecological. So physical and chemical both include the same. Just now I wrote physical, chemical and biological. Fine. Physical and biological components, they include the same. So let us write only one heading. So physical hierarchy, biological hierarchy and ecological hierarchy. So physical hierarchy. The first hierarchy which we are dealing is the physical one. Physical hierarchy. Fine. In the physical hierarchy, you will come from the basic unit. You have studied already in the physics and as well as in the chemistry. In both fields, you have studied that the atoms are the basic units. Fine. Atoms are the basic one, but atoms are made up of electrons, protons, and neutrons. Neutrons and these together constitute the atoms, and many atoms together form the molecules, and many molecules together form the compounds. Fine. And here the organic compounds also you can take. If you take the organic compounds, it will come under chemistry. Even compounds, both all this hierarchy, it comes same in physical as well as in chemical. So by mistake in just now I told you that physical and chemical, so both are included in one itself. So this is about the physical hierarchy, and now second we will be dealing with the biological hierarchy. Biological hierarchy. Fine. So in the biological hierarchy, you have studied in the first year. All the animals are made up of the structural and functional units which are called as cells. Fine. So these cells are made up of organic molecules, that is micromolecule and megamolecule. So that also we can write, but directly I am beginning with the cells. The back one you know. So these cells are made up of micro and macro molecules. So these cells together it forms the tissue, and tissues together it forms the organs, and organs together form the organ system, and organ system together it forms the organisms. Fine. So that is about the biological hierarchy. Now let me go to the third hierarchy, that is the ecological. That is ecological hierarchy. Ecological hierarchy. Fine. So in the ecological hierarchy, we will be coming from the organisms, as organisms will end here in the biological. Now let me take the next hierarchy, that is the population. So the organisms of the similar species constitute the population. So it begins with the population, and many populations together constitute the community, and many community together forms the biome, and many biomes together constitute the biosphere. So this is the ecological hierarchy. So this ecological hierarchy we will be dealing a little bit detailed in our chapter. So now organisms already you know. What do you mean by organism? Living entity which will exhibit the living characters. And many organisms of the same species together it form the population, which has got the capacity of interbreeding. So this you have to remember. What do you mean by population? Population, that is group of organisms. Group of organisms. Let me write. Group of organisms. Organisms of same species which can interbreed interbreed, forms the population. That is, they belongs to the same species. And the population of different organisms together constitute the community. That is group of population. Groups of populations forms the community. And many big communities together with the physical features, a specific physical features forms the biome. So the biome, it is a group of different community. So group of community, let me write. Groups of community with its biological features, with its geographical features, let me write. See, what is biome? Group of big communities with the geographical features. Along with the geographical features. Along with geographical features. Geographical features. Fine. And you know that many biomes you'll see on the earth, like grassland, tundra, rainforest, like you will get different biomes with the specific features. It depends upon the factors which are very particular and very specific to the particular geographical region. That is about the biome, and many biomes together constitute the biosphere. Biosphere, many biomes together. Many biomes together constitute the biosphere. That is about the hierarchy in the ecology. So what you have studied? Physical hierarchy, biological hierarchy and ecological hierarchy. Physical and chemical hierarchy both will be same, like electrons, protons, neutrons, atoms, molecules and the compounds. So these details you have studied in the first year and you will be dealing this in chemistry and physics. Biological hierarchy already you have studied in first year, like cells, tissues, organs, organ system and organism. So ecological hierarchy, population, community, biome and the biosphere. This you have to remember. Now let me next go to the branches of ecology. Fine. So let me go to the branches of ecology. In the ecology, mainly two branches are there, that is art ecology and sim ecology. Art ecology and sim ecology. Art ecology, it includes the study of relationship between an organism or a species with the environment. That is, here we are considering only one organism or one species. So relationship between the species and its environment is called the art ecology. And sim ecology, it deals with the study between the plant or animal community with its environment. If you take an example, if you are studying a mango tree or a species of mango tree with its environment, is called art ecology. So here we are considering only one species, one plant species, that is mango. So when you consider a group of plants, all the plants, how they are interacting with each other. Suppose a mango tree is there beside banyan tree or neem tree, whatever they are, how they are interacting with each other and how they are interacting with the environment also. That constitute the sim ecology. Hope you know the difference. Fine. So that is about the branches of biology. Now I told you that in the ecology mainly there are two components are there, that is biotic components and the abiotic components. Biotic component, it includes the living components of the environment. It includes all the living entities which are there on the earth, right from the microorganisms to the mammals. Fine. Abiotic components. Abiotic components are those components which do not have the life. It includes all the abiotic components which are there on the earth. So biotic components, it includes mainly, they are classified already, you know this. So biotic components include producers, consumers and decomposers. In some book, decomposers are not included in the ecological components, that is only producers and consumers both also will be correct, and if you include three it is also correct, fine. So producers, consumers, decomposers. Producers are the plants which produce their food by themselves and also for others, and consumers are the one which don't have the capacity of producing the food, they depend upon the other organisms for their food, main basic need, fine. And decomposers are those organisms which will help in returning the biotic components back to the earth, back to the ecosystem. So this will be dealing in detail in the ecosystem. Now, abiotic components, it include the temperature, mainly it include the temperature, water, light and soil. And soil. Fine. So these are the abiotic components. Mainly these four components have a major effect on the organisms. Fine. And the availability of these factors, the intensity, duration and the quality of these factors varies in different regions of the earth, like temperature, water, light and the soil. And depending upon the distribution of these factors, the organism distribution and the different types of organisms, they differ. Even the size, the behavior of the organism also varies depending upon these factors. So the place where the organism live in interacting with its environment is called its ecological habitat or ecological niche, it is called. So ecological niche, it is the place where organisms live and interact with its ecosystem, or you can say with its environment, is called the ecological niche. Like suppose if you take an example of a rabbit. A rabbit lives in an open land, in the soil it lives, it burrows. It makes a small hole in the soil and then it will live in that particular hole. And that is its home. So that can be called as its ecological niche. Fine. That is about the ecological niche. Hope you got. So ontology, it is the study of organism with its environment. A single species or single organism you will be considering, and ecology will be considering the whole community. Fine, whole community, then you are reading its interaction with the surrounding environment, that is the ecology. And now I told you biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic factors, the living components of the ecosystem, which include producers, consumers and decomposers. Abiotic components mainly include the non-living components of the ecosystem, that is the temperature, water, soil and the light. Now let us go to the next point. Now let us discuss about the abiotic factors. Major abiotic factors which influences the life are the temperature, water, light and the soil, I told. Now let us discuss first about the temperature. You know, temperature, it is the major, it is most important ecological factor which influences the life. The temperature, it affects the distribution of life on the earth, it affects the kinetics of the enzymatic activity, it affects the metabolic activities of the organisms. Fine. So that is how it will play a major role in the life of the organisms. Now let us read few important points related to the temperature. Fine. Temperature, it affects the metabolic activities both in plants as well as in the animals. Among the metabolic activities, mainly majority of the activities are based on the enzyme kinetics. Fine. And enzymes, they work at optimum temperature. They work to their best at the optimum temperature. When the temperature falls below optimum temperature, the enzymatic activity decreases, and when the temperature rises above the optimum temperature, the enzymatic activity increases and then it stops. Fine. it ceases. Ceases is nothing but it will go on decreasing, then it stops. The organisms will die. So that is how the temperature affect. What you have to, this you have already studied in the first year. That is the effect of temperature on the enzyme activity. In biomolecules you have read. Fine. So at usually what happens? The enzyme activity will begin at particular low temperature. Fine. It will go on increasing as the temperature increases. At a particular temperature, the enzymatic activity will be very effective, and that effective temperature is called as optimum temperature. Fine. That effective temperature is called optimum temperature, and that is the best temperature for that particular enzyme activity. You have studied different enzymes in human physiology, and about that, as the temperature go on increasing, to certain extent the enzymatic activity will increase, then it ceases. That is the highest temperature where the enzyme will stop its activity and the organism will be in problem. Okay, that is about the effect of enzymes on the effect of temperature and the kinetics of the enzyme. Next we have to go to the reproduction, the effect of temperature on the reproductive capacity. So the reproduction rate of the organism also will get affected by the temperature. For example, you have studied the human reproduction, and you know that the testes are placed outside the body, fine, and its temperature is less than the body temperature, nearly 2 to 3 degree less than the body temperature. If temperature rises, then the spermatogonial cells will die and the sperm production will be affected in the males, that already you have studied. That is how it affects the rate of reproduction. And temperature, see, the temperature distribution on the earth is not same. The sun rays will fall more in the equatorial region. That is why the temperature is more in the equatorial region. From the equatorial region, when you move to the polar region, you have studied this in geography. I am just recalling you, fine. So, when you go from the equator region, suppose that if you take this as a earth and the equator region, from the equatorial, when you move towards both the poles, that is northern and the southern pole, the temperature will go on decreasing. Likewise, only the distribution of animals and the plants, when you move from the equator to the pole, it also decreases. In the temperate zone and the tropical region, you will see more organisms, because in these regions, the light intensity, the light duration varies. More light it receives and the plants will flourish very nicely. Because of the availability of the plants, the animals also will be more. So in the tropical and the subtropical regions, in the temperate and the tropical regions, you will see more organisms. Fine. Likewise, when you move from the plain to the mountain region, the distribution, the temperature decreases. Likewise, only the distribution of the organisms also will be affected. And the plants also, the temperature in the plant life also, the temperature will play a very important role. In the plants, the rate of transpiration will get affected. You have studied the transpiration process in the plant physiology. If the temperature is high, the rate of transpiration will be more. The plants start losing more and more water in the form of vapor, that you have studied. And mineral uptake at the low temperature. At the low temperature, the minerals will be binded to the soil particles very tightly. At the high temperature, so minerals, I was saying you that the mineral uptake is affected by the temperature. So minerals are tightly bounded to the soil particles at low temperature. As the temperature increases, the minerals will be loosely bound to the soil particle. Then the mineral uptake will be more. Fine. So that is how mineral uptake is affected, and the metabolic activities of the plant body also will get affected by the temperature. So some of the plants When their seedlings are treated at low temperature from 0 to 5 degrees Celsius, they flower very nicely. So such a process is called as vernalization. What is vernalization? You have already studied this, vernalization. You have studied this in botany. Some of the seedlings, when they are treated, so some seedlings when they are treated at low temperature, they flower very nicely. The flowering will be best. Flowering will be best. Flowering will be best, or you can say affected, and especially 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. Fine. And this process is called as vernalization, which already you have studied in the botany. And next, let me go to some more metabolic activities, that is about the desiccation. You know that when the plants are exposed to the high temperature, so when the plants are exposed to the high temperature, they loses the water, and that process is called desiccation. What do you mean by desiccation? Loss of water from the plant body under high temperature. That is loss of water from the plant body. From the plant body under high temperature. Under high temperature is called the desiccation. Fine. And the plant will die automatically. When the temperature will go on increasing, the cells will start losing the water. When they loses water, the plant body will dry. Then automatically, if the temperature will still go on increasing, then the plants will die. Then chilling effect. So when the temperature decreases to the minimum, at that time the water which is present in the plant body will become the crystal. It will form in the form of ice crystals, and that also will damage the plant body, and that is called as the chilling effect. So water in the plant body forms ice crystals. And this will harm the plant. So chilling injury, it is also called as chilling injury. Fine. So these some 3 examples I gave under the metabolic activities, that is vernalization. Here when the seedlings are treated at a low temperature like 0 to 5 degrees Celsius, they will flower very nicely, and this process is called vernalization. And under high temperature, the plant cells or the plant body start losing the water, and this is called the desiccation. And under low temperature, the water will form the ice crystals, and this also causes injury to the plant body, and that is called the chilling effect. Fine. And now let us just have a look on the the things which we have studied now, that is about the temperature. Temperature, it is the major factor which will affect the life of the organisms, and mainly it affects the distribution of the organisms on the earth. And in the temperate region, in the equatorial region, the temperature will be high. The life found in that region also will be more. And as you move from the equator to the polar region, the temperature decreases and the life also decreases. From the plain to the mountain region, the temperature decreases same, and the life also decreases. And temperature mainly affect the enzymatic activity of the organisms, and enzymes work very effectively at optimum temperature, and its effects will go on decreasing below the optimum and above the optimum. Fine. Below the optimum temperature, the enzymatic activity is conserved, as once again it can regain its functional capacity. But above the optimum, the enzymes will become denatured. The enzymes will loses their property. That is, the enzymes totally will get denatured and destroyed. That is about the metabolic activity. One example we gave. And well, mainly in the plants, the rate of transpiration is very effective, which you have studied in your PUC first year. At the high temperature, what is transpiration? It is the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the plant body. So when the temperature increases, the rate of transpiration will be more, and the plant will get affected. Fine. So this you remember. And when depending upon the temperature tolerance capacity, the organisms are divided into two types, that is stenothermal and eurythermal. So let us discuss these points tomorrow. Just have a look on this. So okay children, hope today's introductory part you have understood.